So, Bruce Feldman had a story today at The Athletic, and it was one of those, it wasn't like talking dirt, but they talked to a bunch of anonymous coaches and get quotes about players. And the focus of the article was quarterback, and there was some interesting stuff in there. Whether you were talking about Shedeur Sanders or Carson Beck, some of the other guys in the SEC, some of the other guys around the country, or even Jaxson Dart. Borky, you pointed to one of the quotes about Jaxson Dart in particular. I think there was only one anonymous coach that talked about Dart in the story. I'm currently locked out of my Athletic account, so I may have to lean on you.
It's fine. You know what's funny? I've been trying to guess who this could be, and I think I've landed on Glenn Schumann, and I'll explain why. Quote, I think he's really underrated, said an SEC defensive coordinator. He has a lot of talent. I think his arm is excellent. He's very streaky, has highs that can be really high, but his lows are really low. He's tough as...
Pooh.
Almost to a fault. And here's why I picked Glenn Schumann. Because an underrated storyline...
Wait, does he cuss?
No, because Glenn Schumann's a defensive coordinator at Georgia, where Jaxson Dart, in a game that was out of reach, took a hit that he didn't need to take. It was kind of reckless, frankly, and got hurt. And played the rest of the season, but he wasn't himself after that, and everybody saw that, although he played great in the Peach Bowl, but he had to have an off-season procedure. I mean, his body had to recover from this season. If Ole Miss is going to be what everybody thinks that they can be, if Jaxson Dart's going to be what a lot of people think he can be, contending for the Heisman Trophy, playing his way into a first-round pick, leaving Ole Miss as, when it comes to records and stuff, as the quarterback with the most accolades in school history. I mean, that is right in front of him this season. And people talk about, well, he needs to see the middle of the field better, or can the receiver, that kind of stuff. I think the conversation needs to start and end with health, but not in a generic, well, you got to stay healthy. He needs to protect himself better. That when people talk about Jaxson Dart improving from one season to the next, where can he get better? My number one choice is slide. Get out of bounds. Protect your body some more. The toughness is admirable. It's really admirable. He plays with an edge. It's really cool.
Pick your spots.
Pick your spots. You don't have to run over every safety. You don't have to take every hit. Your team knows how tough you are. Protect your body some. You don't have to be Eli Manning, where you just sit down in the pocket the second you feel pressure. You don't have to do that. But they are expecting you to be available for 14, 15 games. The only way you do that is if you're healthy. And there are times where he takes stupid hits that he can't avoid. And if he doesn't change that, there's a chance Ole Miss doesn't reach their goals in 2024. They need Jaxson Dart to be healthy if they're going to get there.
Hey, Ned, does this sound like an eerily similar conversation that we had a year ago about the guy that won the Heisman Trophy?
Yeah, in some ways. I don't know that. Yeah, I guess so. And
Jaden Daniels
it's not
took
like
too many
Daniels
hits.
learned.
No,
he didn't learn from it though. He continued to take those hits, and he won the Heisman Trophy. But as a team, nothing that was wrong with LSU was his fault. So we can't put any blame on that. So yeah, there's something to that for sure. I think Daniels is a little bit more of an elusive runner than Dart. If you said which quarterback was more likely to have 150 yards rushing in a game, I would pick Daniels. But Dart is certainly a good runner, a plus runner. But
not just elusive, but he's faster also.
Yeah. I think that toughness for Dart, though, it might be like Samson's hair a little bit. I mean, if you tell him to do that, it may take him out of his game. You may just have to kind of, hope for the best with Jaxson Dart. Because I think being a tough football player is just part of what makes him go and what makes him special.
So, Borky, as cool as the video was, you're saying Jaxson Dart doesn't need to have too many more highlight reels like the run that he had at Georgia Tech in week 2?
Right. And in that moment, he was trying to win a job because even though everybody knew that Dart was better, he was still in the competition, and that was like your, this is my team now moment, which you could see how the sideline reacted and stuff like that. But yeah, he needs to stop doing that. He needs to stop doing what he did against Georgia. I mean, I'm being a little hyperbolic when I think this is Glenn Schumann, but that would make sense because he saw a quarterback that's tough as you know what do so to a fault.